Hey folks, welcome to the second game of the NHL on EA Sports of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm Roy Cruz
And I'm Terry Cruz. Welcome to the second part of the game as we see the first part of the Eastern Conference. That one is a big finish of it as Hurricanes has swept 2 in a row. That means only one happened to be at home and then the other has to be the away game. Therefore, they just couldn't make the win against Carolina as they move on to the next round to face against the winning team between the Penguins or the Flyers.
But now, we're going to the Western Conference on the other end. It's the Golden Knights and they face against the Utah Mammoths at Delta Center.
Tonight's starting goaltender, you have is Adin Hill for the Vegas Golden Knights. And the other side of it, we have is Vijelka for the Utah Mammoths. And it's between whatever those two, but has it for Jack Eichel and Mikhail Sergachev. There might be one that could take it over for anything. And there's the question of who will take the next win in the next part of the game.
Here are my next broadcasting partners I have is along with T, with the part of a tip of the golf plug. And the other side of it for the main commentator I have is Pyramidi. And the third of the center box I give a warm welcome over is to give a good start is Me Phone 11. We'll see you all folks later here for the post game and after the intermission. And then after that, we got one last game left as this will be the Ducks and the Oilers in Anaheim, California.
Now it's time to get things started and let's see who takes it on. Golden Knights. Mammoth, next on EA Sports.
Enjoy the second game. Big nights here happen in hockey. Welcome to the United Center part of the Utah. It's Delta Center as the Flames is about to be here for the Mammoth and Vegas in the playoffs. Well, folks, this is the time we are ready to be here, and it's the first ever Utah playoff hockey on EA Sports. Hey, folks, I'm Pyramidi, and I'm here with my broadcast partner along with T and the pro commentary MePhone 11. This is NHL hockey of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Starting goaltenders will be in a range in between of Adin Hill, and the other side of it we have it across is Vijelka. Starting players, we have it across this Clayton Keller. He'll have it over again to Sergachev. There's a chance over to Krause. He'll find it over to Mackenzie Weegar. He looks to Keller. Finding it over to Schmaltz on the outside of his zone. He'll have it again to Sergachev. Krause with the shot. Blocker saved up by Adin Hill. Clayton Keller with the rebound of it as Weegar will now find Sergachev. Gives it up to Krause. Krause, that one backs it up at the blocker, and that one will scale out of the zone by Sergachev. Gets knocked down by a defender, and it's rebounded up by Schmaltz. Here come the Utah Mammoths of the Everway that will start with their second possession. Krause will start it off. Big rig, the big drive as Trey Theodore will have it over to get Mitch Marner. Marner will now find it over to get to Stone. He'll have it across. Outside zone, a pickoff play for Vegas. Blocks up the defenders and their teams, and Yamamoto will have it again to Mackenzie Weegar. Sends it too deep, and that one is intercepted on the pass. As Shea Theodore gives back to Yamamoto. And that one will clear that zone. This will be the first icing on Utah Mammoths. Startup doesn't really apply to us, but as for the Utah Mammoths, that one gives a 1-0 to have it all what they can do for the series in this game. But this for game number 2, still no score. Mackenzie Weegar the other way. You'll have that one flinging around a pass, and this one will send it over again to Barbashev. They're going for behind the wall. That one will race out of the zone, and as per JJ Peterka will get a rebound here. Here comes the number Utah Mammoths. This will be
the other side of it, Mackenzie Regal will start things off. Here's Ivan Barbashev as Dorfia. And they're going to get a hit on this point of it, and they're going to get started off. Well, this is the start happened to be how bad it was. I mean, you really are just not getting a lot of strong momentum afterward, and there's the initiative and the fight of it. That run will really take the hit of it. And he took a whack down after it, and that one will end things off to a fight. And this is definitely how bad it was going to start. Because one player went down, and that could cause hurtful for Brett Halliday or Barbashev. Well, for Pavel Dorfiev, he was really making it hurtful, and this is the painful of it. And they were getting it so far, as Brett Halliday was starting to make that smackdown of it, and they were really been like shammered it out. They don't really start often from here, but as you mentioned before, that's what's really going to make them hurt him and go blindsided by Pavel Dorfiev. And I didn't really think it was going to happen afterwards. That one really would make them chain up and make that one hard to have that look. As the start-off plays continues here, the 5-minute penalty kill was on both teams. Here's Nate Schmidt. He'll start off for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah side around the wall. And rebounded by Vegas Golden Knights. Then gives it over to Smith. Smith enters the zone. Now finds Quentin Sissons. Broken by Moreno. On a poke check. McBain finds it over to Schmidt. And gets knocked over. Ran over from the other side of it as Anderson now finds the Quentin Sissons. Moreno fired about a net, now firing over McBain. A pass over to Carcone. In a range, firing around net, now finds it over to Schmidt. Schmidt looks to Moreno. Pass to Carcone. Here's Cooley finds Schmidt. Rebound by McBain. Chance play saved up by Aiden Hill. Mark Stone with the rebound. Schmidt goes right over in the Utah territory as Marino will have it again to Golden Kool-Aid. Here's Yamamoto. Chance. Blocked up by a defender. And it's over to Ian Cole. He looks over it again to Sean Dursey. Cole again. Looking front of the golfer. And that one will cover by Aiden Hill. 13:07 to remain in the first period. Utah Mammoths trying to look for a first goal of the game. All right, let's take a look over here and see what we have for Utah Mammoths. They have been playing in the first postseason, and one of the big blankets on the shot of it happened to be only the one best player is Clayton Keller. How do you think about this one here, there, T?
Well, I really mentioned before, and that's Clayton Keller. He's really doing so well. It's been the patient out to his own offensive zone. No bit of strategy happens to be with everybody. But I mentioned to say for Logan Cooley and also, of course, that's Clayton Keller, they've really been like so well. Playing it oftenly after playing the Arizona Coyote former of their teams on the site, happened to be part of Arizona. The Coyotes really are definitely wanting to bring them back here in Arizona. But as for now, Utah Mammoths are the only ones here in Utah to have it played across here to have some sports entertainment with the Utah Jazz on the other hand. And I mentioned to say this before, there definitely could be a lot of Utah teaming around, while only a couple of Arizonas are going to be sticking around for a while between the basketball, baseball, and football. So definitely only the matters of now. I mean, they could definitely just enjoy whatever they can do. It feels like that playing the home team here in Arizona definitely feels like it's missed out for everybody.
Here's Jersey outside of it, now finds the Killer. Keller shoots one, saved by Aiden Hill, and we're holding it here of only 10:48 in the first period. And now my attention over to me phone 11 as I'll start off for Clayton Keller, one of the best players and the alternative captain for the Utah Mammoths. Well, thanks, guys. About Clayton Keller, he really is giving us some huge harder instructions that they're really doing for anybody. But one thing is for great reasoning about Clayton Keller, he has been doing it so great amount of the effort. The big offensive strategy doesn't really mean, but they can definitely do for any of the droughts and the fact to have the tape-to-tape zones. Whatever happens with Clayton Keller, he really makes it all the time. Nothing brings to a stop now, but you can definitely play it for anybody as a Clayton Keller. This tape-to-tape zone is one of the favorites to play for all of each. No matter where it is, that's definitely where it goes right by it. to keep things out of the way. No matter how hard they were doing it for Clayton Keller, it's tape-to-tape zones, a better stampede. I'll find more about him, how he will do on his ice. Back to you guys. After an offside by Vegas Golden Knights with only 8:49, they will have to regroup and now ready for the face-off. Alright, let's go over to the Golden Knights side, and therefore we have is Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel is really an alternative captain the other way, and as for Mark Stone, he is the captain for the Golden Knights. What we really mentioned before about how this tape-to-tape zone happens to be Jack Eichel, not only has to give two tremendous defenses on the other side of it. It's the same thing like Clayton Keller makes, but no better positive street forces happen to be with only stride, length, and fields. It really is a great way for Jack Eichel to show things off. I'm pretty sure that everybody might be seeing what Jack Eichel takes. And anybody that plays for the Utah Mammoths can hardly tell that it's a lot of enforcement to keep things from out of the way. We'll see what happens with Jack Eichel if this goes in for survival. This might be a great matchup to keep things from around the boards. Alright, thank you so much, Jimmy, for 11. Now finding the Schmidt. Peterka in front! Stop made again by Aiden Hill. And as Britt Howden will send over the other way.
That was pretty close. Almost would have been a great goal, and nothing to see it matters. That one really makes it a blocking shot effort.
Kerfoot fires a slap shot of it. The blocker saved up again by Aiden Hill.
Braden McNabb. Alexander Kerfoot will give it to McBain. 6 minutes remaining in the first period, and here's Jack Eichel. Gets the ball in stumble, and that one slips away. Kerfoot will find it again to do Golfer. Golfer now find Deshaun Jersey. That one, this defenders on the Golden Knights. Korzak. The pass again to Jack Eichel for the Golden Knights. And they will have to get it offside here with only 5:20 to go in the first period.
I'll tell you what, they're way too ahead of it, and I mentioned to say before that Jack Eichel, he's probably doing it okay for most of his games, but more likely the Utah Mammoths, they really are not starting to get a lot of strengths in there. They don't have the right choice of it, and they cannot let that one get away to a slowdown. That really is going to have some hard length in the shot of it, and that will not be the great choice to have that first goal. I mean, no matter what you definitely do for it, that really would have to take a hard bunch of players to have that regroup and hydration. That needs to make that one recharge and regain fast.
Logan Cooley wins the draw, and now as Uyghur will now find Cooley, he'll find over to Gonfer.
Yeah, that's so much better happened to be with Logan Cooley. That would really give that one a next opportunity chance to have that face-off win.
Sergachev, he fires it on the blocker shot made by Aiden Hill. Sergachev now finds the Mackenzie Weigel. Mackenzie Weigel to Sergachev. Looks over to Yamamoto. Yamamoto now finds over to Mackenzie Weigel. He'll find Yamamoto. Dylan Gonfer. Nowhere to find Ed. Weigel. Look off to Cooley. Back outside Yamamoto. Gonfer shoots it. Goes off the goalpost. And rebounded by Cooley. Another change off for Sergachev. Weigel out front. Fires a slap shot. Never winning the goalpost. Weigel has now to Cooley. Cooley. Outside to Gonfer. And that pass broken up again as Smith will clear that out. Golden Knights back in the offense zone. Logan Cooley taken away from it. And Clayton Keller will give it back to Cooley. Under 3 minutes, Sergachev. Krause. Open look to Keller. Off the glove again here that time. And that's Aiden Hill will give it back to Rasmus Anderson.
That would almost get a knockoff way. He almost would make that so much more persistency. That's definitely another great goal with the chance for Utah.
William Karlsson with the shot. Fire save made by Pavelka. Now here's Cole. Cole gets run over by a defender. With under 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Rasmus Anderson. Sean Jersey looks to Clayton Keller. Krause. Schwartz. Back into Vegas territory. Utah. And we'll have to give it to JJ Peterka. And back to Sean Jersey. We'll have to stop here with only 1:14 remaining. Coming up will be the first intermission report
as no score between Utah or Vegas.
It stays nothing.
That'll win for Jack Eichel. Gives another one to Stone. Mark Stone around the net. Rebounded by Carcone. Carcone again to Paterka with under a minute. Paterka on the way down. Payton with the rebound. Schmidt now finding Carcone. Carcone shoot one. Saved up again by Aiden Gill. Schmidt. Rocket blast! Off the face smash by Aiden Gill. Payton finding the Schmidt. Schmidt looks over to Marino. Marino shoots. Blocker save. Rebound by the Golden Knights. Now Stone will clear it out, and that will have to end off with the first period. Luke saves between Aiden Hill and Badulko. We've got a lot of period coming in action. It's the first 20 minutes. We got another 20 minutes underway when we come back after the break. We are watching the Stanley Cup playoffs of the Utah Mammoths hockey on EA Sports. Be back with you shortly. Hey folks, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL on EA Sports of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It stays quiet for one of a start off for the second game as Utah and Vegas are still tied for nothing here on the board. They really have to make one team that's proud enough, but nobody is able to have it answered off. Now we'll go over to Terry Crews. You have anything else to say about what happened with Vegas and Utah with no goals?
Well, I know it's no goals. I mean, what we mentioned it before, that passing just really had gotten straight out of it. And as those defenders are really starting to get a lot of picky picks in motion, no better offense would ever do things for Utah or Vegas Golden Knights. They really just didn't think it was going to be easy enough to get the first goal afterwards. So 13 was a big hit, and it was pretty okay for the Mammoths to try to have it swing it out. And of course, the Golden Knights in the other hand of it, they also definitely had 13 hits. 86% of it happened to be with the passing effectiveness for Vegas, and Utah, on the other hand, had 0.9 over 0.5. That's really another change-up that they would have to do for. And only as they get 5 face-off wins and the penalty kills, that definitely made that one knocking in for the sway motion. Nobody would be able to care for it.
Well, let's have a look at the action tracker over here. Went out and you noticed it before and trying to take a smack on a JJ Paterka. That really makes him a star of a SmackDown, and nobody was able to care for it afterwards with the hugest, tremendous fight, and those guys had the penalty right into the middle. Nobody had the crowd favorite. Nobody definitely did all of it, and that really makes him hit on Pavel Dorofeyev. That one really had it all, but they can't get it fixed up again. Now let's see what your thoughts are about the Golden Knights with the big hit of it for you, Terry.
Well, Golden Knights really just gotten smacking, and they're really starting to get a lot of bad contact there. That really would have to make them pay for it to sweep things down. I mean, I have no other idea what considers with the Golden Knights to do their options. I mean, the options are they wanted to get that shot goals array to start that first option. But the second of it happened to be with blocking shots by the Utah Mammoths. They really are starting to do everything in shape, no matter what it changes. That's definitely a knockdown to that. That's really what they're going to get causing it for, to give someone a first effort to block the shot, and then over with deflection on the other hand. Now, how about you for the Utah Mammoths here, Roy?
Well, I bet they say about this, the Utah Mammoths are really getting a lot of first of each goals. They don't seem like they're going to be bashing it out, and they looks like they're going to have to fix it up and regrouping. We'll have to wait and find out if there's anything that's going to change it off, I mean, about Utah Mammoths, they're really going to have to start getting some fixtures to try to get to a point. Let's see what happens if they can definitely have some streaking zones to try to keep that one from running in.
All right, so how about that first part of the goals in the second period? Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, I bet the Golden Knights might start it off. It might be the 1-0 lead over the Vegas for the biggest percentage here on a shot drive. And for Utah, looks like that might have to be a closest, but it still is legal at 0. How about you, Terry?
I might say 2-1 might be Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, that's my answer with this point. So I bet we'll see what the first goal goes in for the second period.
All right, let's go back over to Utah as we close the first intermission here in Delta Center. Let's send you back down to Pyramidi and the commentators.
See you folks later for the second intermission after the period.
If you're just tuning us in for the second period, we welcome you back in Utah of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Both periods stay silent, but as of this next goal, we'll see who gets the next one in for the first goal in game number 2. All right, T, let's see what your facts are for the first period recap. What do you see out there, and how do you think you would believe it in between of Utah or the Vegas Golden Knights?
Well, it seemed like this is a startup happened to be with only the Golden Knights. I mean, they're really starting to get some repairs done. They're really doing some big of a work. I mean, nobody is better than that. I mean, when I'm noticing that Mikhail Sergachev and the Utah Mammoth their teams, they're really starting to get so much opportunity to have a changing with their long length of the speed awakening. I mean, that first goal really is almost going to change opportunity. Have that first the entire point of it. Most likely, I meant to say that the Golden Knights are really starting to get that first goal in there. They really wanted to see when it gets down to it. It will start off with the first period length. This is a big score today, and hopefully by then, Golden Knights will have to make that appearances with the defense. If the strong occurrences may happen with one way or the other. We may not know how this will change it in there, but we gotta see about this one there, Pyramidi, to see the first goal.
I totally agree with you out there, Point. I mean, I know what you're going to say there, T, but who do you think is going to get the first goal between Utah or Vegas?
I'm going to say that Jack Eichel is going to have that first goal of the game. What did you take here?
Utah Mammoth, I guess that Sergachev might get the first goal in there.
All right, well, we'll see what the first bet is.
Goal outside for a shot. He rings the goalpost again. That's 3 in a row in each period.
Oh, wow. That's definitely really like a lot of it knockdowns, and that's pretty much how it's going to get.
Here's Gonfer. Slits. Glove saved by Hill. 60 minutes to book in the second period. They're looking for that first goal between Utah or Vegas. 17 over 15 hits in the game. They're starting to get so much energy from this level between the Vegas Golden Knights or the Utah Mammoths. They really wanted to have the first goals in to have it start. Falcone unable to answer at all as Anderson will have that one carried it over to Dorfiev. Here's Hannafin. Hannafin gets knocked over. Returning on ice is Brett Howden. And here's Hayton. He'll have it around the net. Knocking it over, now finding to Barbashev, and just Brett Howden's on the ice. Brett Howden in zone. Gives it back over to Ian Cole the other way for the Utah Mammoths. Hayton on the outside of his zone. Hayton, look over again to Stanley. Stanley looks to Mackenzie Rigo. Here's Hayton. He shoots, blocked up, fronted in traffic, and it's Hannafin now finds Dorfiev. Dorfiev in a bunch. Run a shot. Save up by Medalka. Eichel looks to Barbashev. Big save, and he scores. Pavel Dorfiev will start that first goal for the Golden Knights. They're on the board.
This miraculous save happened to be with Jack Eichel, and that is a great start of it. But then the next one happened to be occurrences. That puck slits across of it, and as Pavel Dorfiev, he was entering it in. That's the across the zone of it, and then right passing from underneath the legs. That definitely doesn't start out to make the great one here for Utah. Only one thing to say is the tape by Jack Eichel. Then this pass happens to be with Pavel Dorfiev. He was waiting it outside of it, and then that one is tipped back in front. That first goal is going to definitely kick it up a notch. They get the start off for Vegas to get on themselves in their range. There's no chance of doing it better, but one place for sure, that's the first goal that they need.
Here's Shea Theodore now finding the goal again to Kolzer. closer, battle along the boards. Shea Theodore kicks that one zone out. Shea Theodore with a new group change. That one banks it up and across the wall, and it's rebounded by Sergachev, who looks over to Uyghur. And over to McBain, the outside of it. This one gets knocked down. McBain, Kerfoot, back to Uyghur. Uyghur looks to McBain. McBain knocked down. Uyghur with the rebound by Kerfoot. Kerfoot right in front. Shea Theodore taken away. Here come the odd man rush for the Golden Knights. Shea Theodore shot stopped by Pavelka. And you're all hanging on with only 12:35 remaining in the second period. So therefore, that was pretty close of a call out there, was there, T. It was not pretty much in there that you were going to save as Jack Eichel was going to get a first goal in the game. But as I mentioned it before, it's Pavel Dorofeyev.
Yeah, I was kind of close. I mean, but I was very far off. I mean, that is 2 marks down, and it's not Jack Eichel. I think this is the first thing about I got that in there, and I thought the first goal happened to be the Golden Knights, and I got that one right away.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to see what happens with the Utah Mammoth, see what the answer it is.
Well, hopefully what they will do for. I mean, I don't mind if that's definitely going to be the answer of it. Well, as for some, it may be everybody. That's improvement to do for anything.
Knocks over to Marner, and I will sliver and cover it up by Pavelka. Only 11:19 remaining in the second period. We got tomorrow night's game going away, as we've got only 2 more on the other side of it, as the Lightning take on against the Canadiens in Montreal at the Century Bell. That first game for the Utah Mammoth is going to be the other side of it to see what gets things downright underway for Lightning versus Canadiens. And then the other side of it is the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wilds. That will be the next game on its way for the next matchup. Don't ever miss out with the post part of this advantage of the first part of each games. As for tomorrow afternoon, we have the Avalanche against the Kings, and the other side of it, Buffalo Sabres and the Bruins on the other for the first game and the second game. All games here are only on Son of Beast and the future home for the SOBs Gaming. Never miss a moment by leaving that subscribe button, and also hit the like and also hit the notification bell. And thanks for everybody who has already reached to 1,000 subscribers. We couldn't have done it without you. You are the best.
Thank you so much, viewers, for subscribing to his channel and reaching it to 1,000. You are amazing.
Colton Sissons, 9:45 left to go in the second period as he's on his way down his zone. And the attack, right in motion. Overside hit the goalpost elitely. Rebound by Girdle. Girdle trying to watch it away, and as for Pavelka, he'll have it dived up with only under 10 minutes in the second period. Shea Theodore having a little bit of comfortable here, trying to look for a send-it pass here. May not be important, but how that will change, maybe we'll never know. And a win. Here's McNabb. McNabb fires and scores! McNabb has gotten that goal in. A first goal in the playoffs. They got it up by 2.
Well, I know it may not be the great way to start it off, but that's really like a snapper to have that one, release it, and scores it. Well, if he seals the deal, if you can see that Braden McNabb, he was really giving a fire slapstick and have it over over 100 miles per hour. That feels like you were in a rush for some reason, and then you're beating it up by Pavelka. That's really like a big rush. This one really kicks it in there, and that was missed out by Pavelka. This one wasn't really going to make that huge save, and that doesn't really think it was going to be the first goal to have it all caught up. That one really had to buy it out.
Utah Mammoths down by 2, that much, of a 9:14 remaining in the second period. And here's Hayton. He'll now find over to Jersey. Jersey will start over with 9 minutes in the second period. Outside Cole. Cole looks to Carcone. Carcone's shot's blocked. Rebound by McNabb, and now he finds the Barbashev, and he looks over to Jersey. Jersey to Carcone. Carcone spins around. Barbashev got it back.
His first goal in the playoffs.
And Carcone trying to reach it out. Out in.
At 10 minutes 46
outside zone. And he'll get it slaked over again to Shea Theodore. And he gets a trip after it, and there is going to be a penalty. That's on Sean Dursey. That makes him whack, and someone's going to be hurt.
I know he was rushing it afterwards, and as Dursey, he makes it sliping, and that is going to be late. I mean, he is way late. That's definitely a penalty that's going to be realizing for the Utah Mammoths, and they got to watch out for some penalty kills in the power plays. They're going to have to keep an eye on it if there is a first goal appearance on a power play goal.
Power play starts up for Vegas Golden Knights, and here's Eichel. He'll now fight it over outside to Tomas Hertl. Outside zone. Stone shot saved by Pavelka. Here's an over to Dorofeyev. Dorofeyev shot blocked up in front of it. And Sergachev trying to reach over it. And the shot makes a diving play by Pavelka. And now as Krause will have it off the wall and clear that zone out. Vegas the other way. It's now Hertl. Spins across the zone. They get a pass back to Stone. Stone looks to Marner. The Stone shot set by Pavelka. Sergachev around the wall and will clear it out back into Vegas tape. Mitch Marner send a deep pass back to Stone. He looks over to Hertl. Hertl fires it and a save on a neat pad by Pavelka. And Krause will have it into Vegas territory. Here's Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner sends it deep. Stone. Dorofeyev. Tipped it. Hertl shot. Stopped by Pavelka. Shuts him down with just only 45 seconds for a Vegas power play and only 6:42 left.
Mikhail Sergachev was really rushing it afterward. That is a slam down with the hit, and it really makes it look like it's unstoppable. You have no enforcement, and you have no control over it. Sergachev is really powering it down to make that one look real.
The win for Vegas. Here's a slapper and a save made on a blocking shot. And back to Stanley. Knocked him down pretty hit. Stanley, a sure-gated chance. Stopped by Aiden Hill with 6:26 remaining in the second period. Under 30 seconds for the Vegas power play. And there is so much that you can tell about the big hit. 17-0-14. It really looked like they were definitely having a lot of trouble here for Vegas. But they cannot be stopped in the second period as Utah Mammoths are starting to look for some helps here on the other side of it.
Yeah, I know this is not really the day for it, but when you ever had to mention it before, you got to make it clean.
He scores. Brett Howden scores on the power play. Now it's extension 3-0.
I won't have to tell you about this one here. So William Karlsson absolutely didn't give it to Brett Howden, and that one was a blocking shot. And what you don't see right now, I mean, he's trying to block a shot. Marino was trying to get it in there, and he just couldn't crouch it, and he just couldn't help it. That definitely just made that one, slammed it, and he just did not get a good response afterwards. That one gives for the Golden Knights up an extension by 3.
So after the power play goal happened to be with Brett Howden. Here's Pavel Dorofeyev trying to look for the answers in there. Another shot saved by Pavelka. He got to clear it out, and Schmidt sends it deep. Here comes the chance. On the push to Paterka. Shoots one. Stop by Aiden Hill. Rebound by the Mammoth. Noah Hannafin will now find again Dorofeyev. He'll look over to get a Brett Howden. And a shot. Waiting on the shot range is saved up by Pavelka. Carcone with the rebound. Waits around. Patiently in the zone. New line group change for Utah. Sergachev now finding Weeder. Weeder looks at Sergachev now finding Carcone.
First goal in the game. First goal in the score by
We're going to get a hit. And fire! Save up again.
Number 71, William Karlsson. And by number 27, Shea Fiedel.
On the rush, trying to take a go deep breather here. Took a
13
smackdown in the Utah territory as Mackenzie Weeder with the rebound.
And
here's
Fiedel
Hayden.
in the second period of the playoffs.
Hayden around the angle.
13 minutes, 45 seconds.
Rebound by Gonfer. Gonfer. Bounce on the backhander. A big save made by Aiden Hill. And this is going to be a delayed penalty. That's going to be Vegas.
That's definitely what my answer is going to take in here. They definitely had a lot of cross-checking, and that really is going to make them hard to get it out.
Big save by Aiden Hill. That last touch will be on Vegas. Braden McNabb in the penalty box. 2-minute cross-checking.
Well, watch what happens with Brady McNabb. He is really stammering it up, and he gets knocked down by Dylan Gopher. That really is going to make him smacking it down. And now they're going to start their first power play for the Utah Mammoths.
Vegas on a penalty kill. They scored a power play, but what about the Mammoths?
Well, the Mammoths are going to really need to start off with the power play. They might have some answers in there, so whatever they need to do for them, they've got to start waking up, because whenever you don't start making communications well, that's going to turn things over. So don't let that happen, but we got to watch on it pretty carefully.
Jersey avoiding it. Now finding McDowd, you'll have it cleared out.
Mammoths power play.
It's Colton Sisson trying to watch him out. Foul on the board. Poked it away by the goaltender. Dylan Gonfer. He's losing it again. Saved by Rebelka. And now here's Clayton Keller. He'll send it around to Jersey. Now the Utah Mammoths will take their own time. They will try to slow it down with 1:10 to go in the Utah power play. Here's Mackenzie Weegar. Mackenzie over in front. Set by Ian Hill. Paterka now finding the Cooley. Cooley. Broken by Hannafin. Rebounded it. Oh, Utah cannot hold on to it. And Schmaltz on a racing bound. Here's the cut by Paterka. Shot saved up again by the goaltender. 40 seconds left. Trying to help him out. Utah, no strength on the shot opportunity here. Paterka fires it. Another save again by Aiden Hill. And Aiden Hill doesn't know where the puck went. Get a new change off here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Swings it out. Time's running out for Utah Mammoths.
Brady McNabb's ready to be back out there.
Going for shoots off the glove. Backhanders blocked. Eichel. 1 minute remaining in the second period. And still Gonfer trying to get right over to Krause. Krause in range. Back to Kerfoot. Kerfoot again. And here's another slap from Paterka for the fire. Saved by Ian Hill. 30 seconds left. Paterka again. Saved by Hill. 24.2 seconds in the second period. They need a lot of desperate to look for the goal.
Brett Howden's been able to under siege here for protection. That is a big, mighty takedown on JJ Paterka. He's really fighting for a lot of initiative on the scores. No matter how you do for it, but that is a really slacker, but they definitely did. And there is a lot of great chances for Brett Howden to have that scores. No matter it gets, that really gets all.
Brett Howden with 2 goals in the playoffs that point. Trying to make them stammer it down. And as we're nearing the second intermission, we got the next one underway for you. As Harry Cruz and Roy will be sitting in by for the second intermission. So that's going to be coming up after the second period. Aiden Hill dives it, and with only 9.1 seconds in the second period, they've got to get the goals in there for Utah before the second period expires. So let's see how they answer it. Cooley wins the draw. Here's Gonfer. Outside. Smith. Shoots. Off the glove. And he scores! That's a buzz beater in the second period. Logan Cooley. First goal in the playoffs.
Well, there you have the answer. Before time runs out in the second period, Logan Cooley steps it, and that is the goal what you want. That one really went off the glove, and that really took it all, but they got. Logan Cooley was able to fight for his life over from Brett Howden, and that goal is right to in the range of it. You would not believe how that happened to Logan Cooley. That is another tremendous takedown, and then just beat over the goaltender. You would not seize that a great advantage.
Logan Cooley, the first goal in the playoffs, beats the buzzer with 19:58, and we now end up the second period. Logan Cooley get the Mammoths straight back in the game. 3-1. They're not done yet. They have one more period to go. Either tie it or end it here. Second intermission is underway next, and we'll get you back for the third period. Stay tuned for the next game, as you'll see what happens with the third after this. Hey folks, it's Roy Cruz again, and we are back for the second intermission with Terry Crews of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. This really is not the day what they really meant to do for, as free goals had it all for Vegas Golden Knights, but for Utah Mammoths, they've gotten on their way on the board to have the buzz beater by Logan Cooley, who really took it at all. And now I will send it over to Terry Crews and see what happens with the total statistics to see what gets things out of the way between Vegas or Utah.
Well, Utah Mammoths are really shooting at a lot of percentage afterwards. 29 over 18 shots on goal. Utah Mammoths are really trying to put a stride afterwards. They really don't mean that they could definitely kick it all to the bottom of the length. And no matter what they did for, they really had been slacking and sludging. This is really definitely what the Golden Knights are really trying to put a lot of clash into the battle against the Utah Mammoths. They wouldn't believe so. Because it matters. It matters when the only thing really changes it. And I'm noticing that Utah Mammoths are really starting to look for the first goal and no power play in percentage. And that's really what they don't really start getting a lot of secure rations in to have that first goal and opportunity. That's really because what happens with Brett Howden, he is getting so much of his attempts. That's 2 goals in the playoffs. You got to watch out for the third one because when he gets his thing down, that's going to definitely cause him with the hot trick, and that will blind it up by Pavelka to have that one with the leadoff save on its own inbounding. That's pretty much how they were concerning it of.
And now let's go over the action tracker. As we know, as Brett Howden had 1 goal in the game and 2 shots on the net. He definitely got a good assist from the Vegas Golden Knights players. But as for Logan Cooley, he only makes the buzz beater to have it all with a great shot on angle. And that really kicks it right off to the ledge. Let's have your take in for the Golden Knights for Brett Howden. And how do you see afterward?
It's just most confidently I've just seen it before. You know what I'm saying? It really happens to be what Logan Cooley had it over with and as an Aiden Hill. But Brett Howden is my great guy to just take over with responses. That's really a great way to see for the Golden Knights there. And they're doing some communication, strong attitude. We wouldn't believe so. That's really what causes it for the first period to keep things up with no scores to the game. I mean, this has been a little bit of a straight and a little bit of even. But more likely, though, the Utah Mammoths are really starting to have a lot of shots on the net of the goal. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, they're really starting to get that one block shots. There's no way that they can definitely do it for it. They gotta see this to get right in the action. And now, how about the Utah Mammoths on the other side of it for you?
Well, for me, actually, I could say that Logan Cooley really got a great buzz beater. That's one thing. But as you can see, from the head coaches from the Utah Mammoths, they're saying we're not gathered around here, everybody. I know we're on a good strength. But as for before the second period starts up, I mean, he's really starting to get a lot of sharing facts of it. No better range would do the thing. And whatever you think about it, how it happens with the head coaches from the Utah Mammoths, they really are starting to fix things up into shape. This would have to give some slow energy. This crowd level is definitely waiting patiently. Nobody wants to know who can get a next goal in. Come on, folks. Do you think we need to fix that problem? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Hopefully the Utah Mammoths may have a closer game to get there. And how about these total statistics here after the third period?
I bet Golden Knights may have a win with the great chances. 4-2 over again by the Utah Mammoths. I think that we can definitely do it for victory is ours. And how about you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think 3-3, we might go to overtime after the regulation. So let's see if they can have their answers in to cheat them back.
Let's go back over to Utah Mammoths and see what the call is made for the Utah Mammoth or the Vegas Golden Knights to have it lead or tie it up.
Let's see what gets things done. We'll see you all folks later for the overtime show or the post-game show.
Let's get into rolling. See you folks later.
Two periods down. Final 20 minutes in the regulation period, and they will call the end. It really was a big battle range in between Vegas and Utah. But what will the third period do after Logan Cooley's buzz beater? Let's find out. All right, T. I know what you're saying this, but your bet on this one was not really close. Then this again wasn't pretty easy enough. It has to be a 3-1 lead. How do you see it afterwards for Utah and the Golden Knights?
Well, as Utah Mammoths are really starting to have some fighting competentially, and they're really starting to have a lot of strength. There's no slowing down to how they're really going to do this. I mentioned before about this. You really have nowhere to be protecting it under your own. If you're a Utah Mammoths player, you would have to do a lot of change-off. When you're going to get right into the offensive zone, you just really have to make sure. It's like, well, we got to get right into this, gentlemen. I know we're down by 2, but let's pick up the pace and see how we can definitely answer it off. Hopefully we see from Mikhail Sergachev, or maybe one player at a time. Well, we might have the first goal of it when we look for it. Contact is big everywhere.
I know we might see things, but this is the great way that we wanted to see the fans be proud. Let's see how they answer it. Clayton Keller outside of it. He'll now have it over to again Mackenzie Weegar, and he looks to Mikhail Sergachev. And Clayton Keller trying to have a little tape-to-tape on the battling on the offense. They had a lot of hard timing to get right through this. And so far, however, as Clayton Keller trying to get that one with the first part of its goal, but one changes with that. Logan Cooley, the former signing of the Arizona Coyotes, that is his first goal in the playoffs. He really is starting to do all of them as they can. And Schmidt able to perform here, and that is another postseason advantage since after playing with the Florida Panthers, he's starting to see how we can definitely change things often and start seeing how he will able to hold things on with a lot of strength opportunities. You know, I love seeing how we can definitely change it off for. And as we mentioned it for the last timing that they played against the Golden Knights for Nate Schmidt against the Florida Panthers. That was a couple years ago in 2023 in the Stanley Cup Final. And the finishing of this one only happened to be with the Golden Knights in the change of it. They really did so well with it. And as for Braden Brayson, and we just sit to say about this, they won't change it oftenly. The whole entirety of the gets. And we really say about Nate Schmidt, he's been one of the best players afterwards. I definitely know this saying that Nate Schmidt has been so well, actively and constipating, and it's just a long life in this great range. No better than to be there. What a save on Pavelka. I mean, I almost missed that last play after when you noticing how Pavelka was able to have that one finishing it off. That really was a huge one effort of the save. You cannot let it get away with that. Fires shot, big save again by Pavelka. And Hayton with the rebound. Now for Utah, they will now change new group. Stick lifted, great defensive effort for Vegas. Ian Cole. Along the other way. Hayton looks to Peterka. Here's Tersey, fires a shot and a save by Kill. And back to Noah Hanifin the other way. Utah back in the offense zone. He'll try to give over to Hayton. Hayton shoots deep. Blocker saved again by Aiden Gill. Big sended pass back to Dorofiev as he's back on ice. Barbashev feeling like he's okay, and he'll definitely play it as he will still continue to fight against the Utah Mammoths. Yeah, he's all right at that point of it. I'm really sure everybody's been watching on it. As for Ivan Barbashev, he really had a lot of hurt of it. And as for Brett Howden, you wouldn't seem to do for the Thane, and that really was a big knockdown to Mammoth's crucial fighting on its initiative. No matter how they were doing that, they really have to try to take a little deep breath and then go back into where they came from. They're really sure, but they would not leave things alone. I mean, no matter what you do, no matter what you get, you just really have to do all your own. Ian Cole now finds it over to Mackenzie Weegar. Here looks over Cole. Cole back to Weegar. Weegar, Cole, in zone. Fires a block shot. Save made up again by Aiden Hill. Here comes Mitch Marner. That one broken up the chain. Stanley looks over to Weegar. Ooh, Weegar with a little nice slick move. Weegar in front. Save by Hill. Back to the Golden Knights, and here's Mitch Marner with 11 minutes in the third period. Poked it up. Ian Cole. Again, finding to Kerfoot. Kerfoot. Finding McBain. McBain in. Hannafin taking him out. And he got knocked over. That's going to be an interference on Kerfoot.
Yeah, I see the easy call of it, and that really is going to make that one stand it out. Nobody is really liking this, and nobody is going to pay attention afterwards. Referee's been looking at this crowd for a whole entire effort. Nobody is doing this, and that is a big problem.
Utah number 15 is a 2-minute.
You know, Alexander Kerfoot, he was really trying to get it in there, and he was trying to move it out of his way. That is not what you wanted to start off. Alexander Kerfoot, he has really been like sweeping it, and that's not his day, what he will get the change for. That one messes it up entirely.
Now the power play will be set again. They're 1-for-1 for Vegas. But will they do it again?
I probably think they will. They absolutely will do that one thing again, and the Golden Knights, they've been a better team.
Glove stop made by Pavelka. Nate Schmidt slings it around that. And as Ivan Barbashev take a little smackdown here, and he'll have to race out of here. You get Carlson back on the defense. Carlson in zone, save by Pavelka. Behind the net. Now they'll have to try to watch some room here, and it's swallowed up by Pavelka. Marino flings it deep. Now the Golden Knights will have a new odd man change here as Brett Howden back in the zone. He has one that time. Will he get two? Schmidt looks over it again to Marino. We pass the midway mark in the third period as now it's over to Schmaltz. The Golden Knights are back in the offensive zone. He now finds to Brett Howden. Brett Howden in front zone and covered up by Pavelka. Under a minute left for the Vegas power play. And as of 9:07 remaining in the regulation period, he's starting to make another huge save.
Well, say about this one here, as Pavelka is making some impressive saves on his own time on its opportunity attack. Most of it is coming in fruition. As for Pavelka, he really calls it the veggie. That's really a one-kickable save to have in all of these periods. You would never see this? Well, I guess you know about Pavelka. He was really putting a better save of it. All this better effort doesn't really mean to change it anything. More likely the pro be playing like you believe in.
Stanley wins the draw, and as Mackenzie Weegar will give it to McBain right and over around Eichel, and right behind the net will be Eichel. Mark Stone, 35 seconds left for the Golden Knights power play. And McBain's got it. Stick lifted. Trying to get away with it. Stone racing it out of nowhere. Weegar over to Stanley. Stanley trying to shoot deep and will not be enough to get a shorthanded goal. .8:31 to go as Mark Stone trying to have a little bit of a born leader, and also effective interception quick picks are definitely another way to have it getting rid of.
Yeah, it's definitely another thing you need to get rid of. I mean, we really are not sure how this is going to really change it in there. But anybody that does so has to be coming out and try to get that blocker in. That's really what they're really changing it for. To do it all at once.
And coming out of the box is Alexander Kerfoot as the power play is over. Jersey shoots. Time for a shot. Stopped by Ian Hill. Jersey under 8 minutes for the regulation period. Around the net. Logan Cooley. Cole looks to Krause. Goffer knocked over by Hurdle. Goffer to Jersey. Here's Cole shoots. Over the net on a blocker again by Ian Hill. Wow, what a big save of that one again. Jersey fires, he scores! Sean Jersey rocking, blows right past from Ian Hill. They're down by one.
Well, that's one timing. No better option. Whatever do for things. And it just gives the pass over to Jersey. Just watch what the quick timing reacts it to. And then one thing that you need to know about is Ian Cole. That one slings it, and it's a pass off to stop by Ian Hill. That really was a big fling in the rest of the drive. That Ian Cole waits it out patiently, and has the greatness to keep things out of the way. No matter what it gets, that's big goal concentration.
They're back down by one. 7 minutes remaining in the third period as Nick Dowd will have a little bit of a swing in action here. Shea Theodore on the outside of it. Now the Golden Knights need some regroup here. Kolzer. Broken by Schmidt. Schmidt looks to Kokone. Kokone to find again a Hayton. Hayton. Around the back. Here's another big changeoff for Schmidt. Rebound by Theodore. Theodore all the way to Kolzer. Kolzer, foul along the boards. Marino with the rebound here. And now he will give it over to Schmidt. Schmidt looks to Marino. Marino to pass again to Schmidt. Schmaltz. Nick Schmaltz. Outside Marino. Looks to Schmidt. Schmidt shot blocked. Rebound by Carpone. What a great diving play for the Golden Knights. Schmaltz fires the shot, saved by Gill. Gill's going to hang on with only 5:09 in the first period. A lot of 34 hits in the banger. It's still a close game. Vegas up by 1. Utah trail by 1.
In the third period of playoffs, 12 minutes.
Nick Schmaltz wins a draw. We're down to a final 5 minutes presented by Discover. Rieger. Sergachev shoots over in front of it, and it was covered and stopped by Gill under 5 minutes in the third period in action. Seemed like that they're really having a lot of dropping face-offs here. Vegas might be clutching it in and moving on to the next round to face against the next team. Do you think this is what will be happening?
I don't know. I mean, I think there is a comeback to this struggle. I mean, we'll see what happens with the change-off, so we've got to find out who will be the next goal in.
Big hit. Kraus back up on the feet. Rieger to Kraus. Kraus leaves Sergachev. Sergachev slings it, and a save made again by Gill. Theodore. Back to McNabb. He looked to Dorofiev. And here's Mackenzie Rieger. Rieger on the rush. Fires it around the net. Kraus. Kraus back outside to Sergachev. He looks to Killer. Killer looks to Sergachev. Killer flings it. A save by Aiden Hill. And back to Schmaltz again. Keller. Sergachev shot blocked by Barbashev. Rebound by Kraus. Kraus looks to Rieger. Oh, a bad pass again. That one is misconnected on a miscue. Sergachev will have to regroup.
Man, I don't know what happened with that. I mean, that one really messed it up.
Here's Schmaltz in. Save again by Gill. Sergachev now finding a Rieger. Rieger to Sergachev. Sergachev waits it around. Now Gomper. Gomper fires. And a save made. And it goes up to the netting and will send it out of play.
That's a lot of huge, remarkable saves about Aiden Hill. He really had done all of everything. This is a big save of it, and this is a big row motion attack. Watch what Nick Schmaltz here, and watch what Aiden Hill has. That's a remarkable save to have that one keeping it out of the way.
Now I will turn my attention over to Me411, who had the best player game of the night. Well, I gotta say, fellas, I may say that this is a great way to see about that. Jack Eichel had made a tape-to-tape zone, and that is a heckable drive, and it really did so well to keep things back in from positioning. No matter what it gets, it really done it all. This is the big figure to have that one key motion right from the hard work to paying it off. We'll see how it happens with Jack Eichel if he can stop on by. Sergachev stopped down by Stone. Stone looks at Jack Eichel. Eichel, he's rushing. And back to Sergachev. Now here's Yamamoto. Final minute of the third period. Yamamoto weighing it in. Moves around. Shot. Rebounds it. And back to Logan Cooley. Full pressure coming on. Kraus need to look for the comeback here. And broken up again. They mess it up. Here's Cooley. Send-off zone to Yamamoto. Yamamoto. In zone backhander. Yamamoto outside of it by Schmidt. 30 seconds left. Marino shoots. Saved by Gill. Cooley. Out of the range by Schmidt. Marino. Marino shoots. He scores! We're tied. It's Kraus time. Going to OT.
Well, listen, the fan, when you're watching on this one here, watch what happened with this. This is the cross drive, and then watch from here. Look what he was doing. Look at the reach of this player this one here. Cross is looking it down, and then that is right into the goal. He was right in front of it, and I can't believe it that he's doing that afterwards. Kraus just got to reach in on a stick, and now they're all tied up. I can't believe it that they're really doing that. And just nearing the end of regulation, now this is going to be overtime. They're getting back into the motion. You got to see this before about the regulation periods here for the real Stanley Cup playoffs between the Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoths. They really are starting to do all their efforts.
Final chance. Kraus shot. Blocked up. And as the Golden Knights will try to clear it out, they'll take a rest here, and we are going to overtime for the first time ever in Utah of the playoffs. Therefore being said, Utah 3 and Vegas 3. Overtime is coming up next after the break. See you folks later for the start of OT.
Utah and Vegas 3.
All right, what a game this been. I mean, this is a big comeback for the Utah Mammoths. But before we get started for OT, let's take a look at the total statistics in case you missed that part of the games. All right, well, what a game it's been. And as a 3-3 is a tie, well, it looks like the prediction was right. Because therefore, that was for you, Roy. Because everything that happens with that, I mean, I wasn't really sure if this was going to be a closer game. Mine was 4-2, but your prediction was right. A 3-3 game was a big tying effort.
Well, you gotta say it now. I mean, that's a big win to have that prediction correctly.
Not always a big prediction and you want to win for the bet. But let's take a look and see what was going to win in overtime for each of the games. I'll start off with you, Ray Roy, my big brother. Even though I know you really are more likely to be anybody like you know for.
Shut up. Well, alright then. I'll say something about this. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoths are really starting to get a lot of connection feeds in there. I mean, they're doing so well. This is big, compact, and they're really starting to do a lot of energy in the big change. I mean, they really did so well. That's pretty, like, a courtesy to do for days. To have that one swerving it out a little bit. I mean, they're more likely precise and producing the right energy. No better effort to do for one. But I meant to say before, the Utah Mammoths and the Vegas Golden Knights are a pretty hard team to catch on. No matter what they did, they really are going to need to start getting a lot of energy up from the level from the crowd. And hopefully the Utah Mammoths might be able to win that game. And if they do, they'll be heading back to Vegas for Game 3 for the sudden death, win or go home. So if Utah Mammoths win it, they can definitely just try to keep rolling it in and get ready for Game 3. And for Vegas Golden Knights, if they win, they'll be on the road and they'll have an off season to have a break, and they will face against the winning teams between the Anaheim Ducks or the Edmonton Oilers. That's the next game underway there shortly.
So, I bet that this is a great way to have that one finished up. Well, what's your take here, and who do you think is going to win?
My take is going to be Vegas, and I think this is going to have to change it up for Jack Eichel to score it, or Pavel Dorofeyev to have that goal. I think it's a great option for Vegas Golden Knights to win here. How about you, Terry?
Well, I'm going to say that it looks like Sergachev hasn't pretty much scoring it off, but I think he will get the assist from Kraus that time. So let's see how this answer's in there.
All right, let's hope there is a great answer with that. I can't wait to see what the first OT will look like.
Now back to Pyramid E as we start overtime. And this game is presented by your local Honda dealers.
Now let's get into the action and see who wins. Overtime starts now. A long-wait energy. For the first time in Utah, it's overtime. In the playoffs we go. Utah Mammoths and Vegas are deadlock even. Let's see who takes the next win. And to start off, we'll take on for the Vegas Golden Knights. You'll have it over to Jack Eichel. Here's the startup that time, and this one will start in for the big save by Pavelka with the start of a period of only 19:24 remaining. Now, the last thing we're noticing, I'm talking about Lawson Krause. That is a great goal to have the buzz beater in a change before overtime starts. How do you really plead on that?
Well, I know the pleading on this one really changes for Lawson Krause, and that is the big, great driving on the range for the goal. That's really just a long way down to have it change it off, and I wouldn't believe so if they could definitely change it anywhere. And I won't mention it before that Lawson Krause is really given the first goal of it. The error to change it in there was pretty much everything the same. When everybody has to make the agreements for Lawson Krause to win the game, I meant this to say that they really wanted to win it all. Won't be the matter of fact of it if they can definitely try to do it for winning or not. Let's see how they answer it. I think this is going to be a great game, and I bet Krause might win it.
Same with me. Let's hope there is the best. Keller. Oh, he went down pretty hardly. And as Skill will try to cover things up, Brady McNabb had already taken a smackdown on Clayton Keller.
Well, I don't think he didn't make it a smackdown afterward, but there was one big save to this. Clayton Keller was almost going to make that one with the goal, but Aiden Hill had a lot of time and quick reaction. That was really a close call to have that one quickly impaired.
It was off the pad of Aiden Hill's left right foot. And there's going to be a lot of big crowd reaction here to look for some big tips-ins, or it will stay out. After a winning face-off, here's Yamamoto. Knocked it from the corner. Now here's another send-it pass for the Golden Knights. McNabb back to Eichel. He looks to Stone. Stone. Looks over. Mitch Marner. He had that one off a goaltender and off the wall. And now here come the Utah the other way. Here's Viger. Viger backhander. And will not get through that time. That one will stay out. Sergachev looks again to Yamamoto. Over to Sergachev. Sergachev needs some big regroupments here. Donford of Uyghur. Uyghur shot deflection saved by Gill. 16:21 in OT remaining. Vegas 3, Utah 3.
They really had to look for Logan Cooley. They got to watch his skating. This ability is a big knockdown to have that one skating percentage. This one is a big tracking to have that one smacking. That's a big one down here for sure.
Logan Cooley wins the draw. Sergachev. On that side of Mackenzie Weegar, he looks over to Dylan Dunford. Golden Knights went back in the offense zone. Ivan Barbashev will have that one kicking it over to Anderson. Here's Dunford. Dunford the other side for Sergachev. He looks over to Weegar. And Yamamoto will have it again to Sergachev to Weegar. Here's another one to Cooley. Cooley shoots one. Doesn't have any much room here. They'll try to have it back out and defend it. Valdorfiev slings the fire and a save by Pavelka. 15-19 in OT. No goals here to take the lead as we are still tied. 89 over 88. Not a better passing effectiveness, but they're really starting to get it close in shape. Win by Heaton. Mackenzie Weegar will send it over to Carcone. Carcone pass now finds to Peterka. Peterka went around the back. Going right to her in a room. Oh, Hayton just almost lost that puck, but he will have to try to hang on with that.
Yeah, he almost did. I mean, I think our defenders are really onto it or something. That could definitely make it all knocking it over, and then they really wanted to have that one stocking it out. I mean, I don't have anything to say about Hayton, but he's really trying to make sure he recovers the puck and get in the net. But therefore, he went no blanking on the room.
The win for Vegas. Brett Howden back over to Noah Hannafin to Howden. And here's Barbashev for the Vegas Golden Knights. They run it over. Another save by Pavelka. Schmidt again. Again to Hayton. Utah Mammoth trying to look for some answers in the cut. And there will be a penalty. That's going to be Ivan Barbashev on the cross-checking. While he went bumbling it down, he was bringing it up, and then he was trying to rush it in there. He just faked it with. That's going to cross-check somebody else, and therefore, Utah might have a chance to win the game. Utah Mammoths on a power play. They're looking for a season to win on the power play goal for Utah. Let's see how they answer.
For the Utah Mammoths.
Goes here. Golper. Backhander. Wasn't enough. Rebound by Cooley. Keller. Again. Right in front and scores! Utah crunches. And they're going back to Vegas. Clayton Keller wins it all. Crowd fan roars. That's Mammoth win. Whenever you give some higher on defensive effort, you have to give Clayton Keller some room. This is where he was going to start making some changes, and there's a lot of room. There's a lot of empty gap in the middle. And therefore, Clayton Keller, he was going to go right into her in the middle, and he just had it on. That's a shooting percentage. Keep that one out. What a great play by Clayton Keller. This alternative captain is really up for anything. The crowd level of this noise happens to be Keller, and now each goals have now struck in again. They're going back to Vegas for Game 3. What a night. We really cannot wait to see what Game 3 is all about. What a win for Mammoth. And now, this will be it between the Vegas or Utah. So what a game of this night, fellas. What an excellent opportunity. And for that form, we say so long to Utah at the Delta Center. Along with me, Photo 11 and T. I'm Pyramid. Thanks for watching the Utah hockey game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll see you next time. Good night.
At T-Mobile Arena.
All right, thanks there, Pyramid. Time for 3-star players of the game as we start Nate Schmidt with only 2 assists and 3 hits. He only does this, though, to get that one deflected and try to give some helping communication, offensive skill, and strategy to go right into the net. The 2nd-star player of the game goes to Dylan Gopher with only 2 assists and 4 hits. That only makes him so to keep that one knocking down. And tonight's 1st-star player of the game, your overtime winner, is Clayton Keller. Logan Cooley with 1 goal, 1 assist, and 3 hits. He really took a smackdown, went right into the range, and the buzz beater in the 2nd period.
And so far, here's how they did with the total statistics. 53 over 35 total shots on goal for Utah. 42 over 40 hits for Vegas Golden Knights. 20 over 4 over 340 time on attack for Utah Mammoths. 89 over 88 for Vegas. 26 over 17 for Vegas also. With both teams with a 9-minute penalty kill. And both teams have 1 power play goals. 1 for Vegas with 342, and 1 for Utah with only 2:16 in overtime. So what a game. They're heading back to Vegas for Game 3 for win or go home. That'll be the next game to keep your eyes on the Peerage.
But as of right now, we have 1 more game left to go for night number 1 as the Ducks take on against the Oilers. We'll have to see what changes everything.
If you're not joining us for the 2nd game, we appreciate your support, and we'll see you all, folks, next time for as a while as the NHL 26 gameplay of the Stanley Cup playoff dial. This is Terry Crews
and Roy Cruz signing out. Thanks for watching. And for those of you joining us for the 3rd game, stick around.
If you don't, somebody will.